very heavily into... Like, I've seen a lot of Burna lately. So I'm hoping that we don't just see lots of Burna. Anyways, we're off. Welcome to Stoops Long's house.
I'll hope for the other cane, the red one.
I'm good with red cane. I actually really like red cane. Oh, we won't have to farm for bombs. Although it's always a pain in the butt when you get those bombs and then Uncle gives you more bombs. Early map check. Green pendant, vanilla green pendant, 5 crystal on desert, and 7 crystal on Tower of Hera.
Alright. Well, the eastern pendant's always a little awkward, since that does make it a bit more tempting to go there early, but at the same time you don't want to go there if it's not required, so...
Yeah. Hammer start. About the fastest one you can get, really.
Yeah, that's fine. Fire Rod would also be really good, since that is also a really quick weapon, and we don't want to have to farm for bombs. We got him in the first chest, so...
Yeah, and a half magic.
Well, now we would have been really wanting to see that Fire Rod.
That being said, of course, Hammer early on is always nice, because just one less enemy to worry about to get Dark World access, especially the Hammer specifically, because it blocks a lot of the weird Aghanim requirements, other than purely Dark World access.
Yeah, that very rare Hammer and Pyramid Fairy that can crop up.
Yeah, Hammer and Pyramid, or locked behind it, or even Hammer in Palace of Darkness, so you don't find a flipper either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hammer's just really reliable. It doesn't have any costs associated with it, but it does tend to plank off the guard's swords.
Firewood King, please! We're good. Hughbliss takes the lead, as much as the lead doesn't matter at all at this point. Actually, he's not even in the lead because the timers aren't synced yet, so not even in the lead.
Yeah. It's just one of those awkward things about these guards. They are very good with their swords, for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason their sword can just deal with hammers, no problem.
We'll just stare right at you as it plinks off and make you look dumb.
I almost would have picked up that big 20, but
We'll have
go
it
fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
Sure, it shouldn't even be gone if you want it.
Yeah,
there we go. Zelda Descent says they're actually synced anyways, because there was just a late start.
Man, they're like owls. Did you see that? That guard turned his head 360, not 360, 180 degrees.
Of course, nice little ability to just throw one pot and smack him with your hammer, because the pot and the hammer both do the same damage and both require 2 to kill that. Firewood King, unsurprisingly, taking both the other hearts to fill up his heart sphere real quick.
Yeah, it's very easy to take damage and escape, and there's really no point in being reckless. So grab those and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Where did Hughbliss use a bomb?
I was just thinking that. I'm like, wait a second, what? He's down to 2 bombs. So I'm not sure. It's probably not going to cost him any, although it could come into play just if he never finds any bomb drops up through Blind's Hut, because it means that he will have to go buy bombs before he does the well, or he'll have to gamble the well to see if there's bombs in the well.
Yeah, and that's not too uncommon, but you would rather have the assurance because you don't want to have to backtrack for that. He also didn't get any money drops, which is unfortunate.
So he missed dropped a bomb right at the start. He hadn't switched to hammer, so bombs were auto-selected. Tried to hammer something and dropped a bomb instead.
Well, might opt to kill some of these snakes and rats along the way just to see if he gets lucky.
If only the hitbox for the hammer wasn't awful.
It's pretty bad, especially when you're looking up.
Well, and it's actually pretty bad against a lot of small enemies when you're on the top of the screen, because the fact that the hitbox is sort of lower to the ground than... it's sort of low, like physically lower, closer to Link's feet than his head, so some enemies just sort of don't even get hit by the hitbox if they're right along the top of the screen. 2 bottles already.
Well, Sick Kid is going to be double happy today. It also seems like the hammer has a little bit of a wind-up, like compared to the sword.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the hammer's all around a little bit awkward to use. Those rats not playing nicely there for that bomb that Hubliss dropped.
yeah, unfortunately, they can't really do much about it.
Nothing interesting in there, although 40 rupees is not a bad thing to find at this point in the game.
No, not at all. We do need to spend some of those soon, so maybe even a bit more than we were expecting for the bottle vendor if you don't find any bombs.
Yeah, and then of course a piece of heart, also not bad at this point in time. So, not a useful place to be, and of course very nice that we had bombs to do it, because the last thing you need is that in the back of your mind for the next 10-15 minutes until whenever it is you find a lift upgrade or just decide to walk back through.
Yeah, so we did find a heart in Sanctuary. It was not the same heart, though, of course you will notice. Hubliss is still missing half of a heart.
Yep. Okay, you want to get up to that 6 or 7 hearts sort of quickly. After that, it sort of depends on runner's comfortability as well as what armor upgrades you've gotten by that time.
Yeah, and it also depends on when you get Dark World access, because the Dark World's a lot deadlier than most of the Light World, so that also plays a factor in it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we missed the sign throw.
That was weird. Like, hit the ground.
Yeah. Might have been like on top of the ledge. I don't know. It was weird.
Ooh.
20 rupee crab. That could be useful to know. It actually brought me close in one of my races when I used it to get early Zora, and Zora had a lift upgrade once. So that kind of information is very important to know because it could come into use if there's not a couple 300 rupee drops early on.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you get those early 20 rupee crabs, you grab them all, because you're gonna need that money at some point, and it's sometimes a lot less convenient to get.
Of course, with Lumberjack Cave being a blue rupee, we're probably not going to see Aghanim in this seed, although, of course, we could still need it for Dark World access. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we are mostly out of the woods. We're not complete, though, so it's going
I think we're just going into the woods, just saying.
We are, actually.
Not picking up the piece of heart. So Firewood skipping the piece of heart, Hubliss picking it up. Once again, that's sort of that little bit of extra safety potentially.
Yeah, if you don't want to pick that up, that's fine. It's just a piece of heart, but at the same time, that could be a timely health refill later. So,
although you never know, that could be a timely health refill either way.
Yes, indeed.
That's the one thing about heart pieces, that you don't really know when you're going to get them most of the time. So it's very hard to plan your route around them because you can't.
Yes, indeed. That's very true. Unless they're like all on seeable locations and you go to a lot of effort.
Well, and most seeable locations you're not going to go to for a heart refill.
That's very true as well. Well, the good thing is that Hubliss, thanks to those bush crabs, got plenty of money to buy bombs, so...
Yeah. Won't matter if there's bombs in here or not too much. As I said, a little bit of extra running will be the only cost if there's no bombs down here. Another heart. Get a book. We're literate now. The magic powder, so bats available already. And the mirror.
Really interesting items. That magic powder feels really nice to find in Kakariko when you start with the hammer.
We'll see if both runners remember to turn that in before they leave Kakariko.
This was stacked. We even got a sword.
Even a sword, yeah. Very solid. 5 items that you really want. Like, one of them was just a heart container. When the heart container is the worst thing you find in the bunch, you know you had a pretty good 5-item location.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, well, the well match up.
Talk to him, Hubliss. There you go. Okay, so he's just scamming us. Giving us a 1 to 5 ratio on our investment. Well, we're becoming healthy.
We are indeed. There's lots of love and 2 big 20s in the well, but well, So the silver arrows we found in the well are about to be a lot more valuable.
Yep. And now, of course, we also have that big question. I would highly expect that we're going to see a full clear of Eastern Palace from both these runners if we don't get Dark World access before then. Because with it being the green pendant, it's effectively a 4-item location. We might see a full clear of it even if they do have Dark World access, depending on what else we find and what routing we take.
Well, we did get the mirror, so looping that in with Pod is definitely on the table. You even got some arrows to go with them.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how the routing takes us here. Until we get a lift upgrade, we're fairly limited because even desert's not even a great play until we get a fire source as well.
Yeah, though of course desert could still be a play to consider. It's very awkward.
It's not a play. I don't think it's a play we'll be seeing until we get the ability to full clear. Like, unless we literally get boots, lift upgrade, and fire source, I don't think we'll see a desert play before we see an Eastern Palace clear.
Yeah, well, either that or if Aga is looking likely, you would definitely go into Desert Palace before making the dive on Aga, I would say.
Well, yes, but I just meant before Eastern Palace.
Right.
Because even though Desert's a crystal and Eastern Palace is a pendant, Eastern Palace, like I said, is basically a 4-item check at this point.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's
pretty sure both these runners can do those dark rooms, no problem.
yeah, exactly. It's especially for you when you get the silver arrows this early, so I would agree with that quite a lot.
And both players do remember the bat. What do you have for us today, Batty? 100 rupees. Go on, do it. Oh, the flute! Well, that makes Desert a slightly more valuable play, although I think my previous statement still relatively stands.
Yeah, we also have Hera open to us now, which we can't complete eventually.
Yeah. And all of East Death Mountain too, because since we have the mirror and the hammer.
Yeah, so
yeah, this seed's... We have no idea where everyone's going to go. This could be one of these seeds where we actually don't even see Southern Hyrule for a while, depending on how they want to route this.
Yeah, it's rare you see the seed open up this early with just Light World locations.
Yeah.
Usually that happens when you get like myths or something, but
like
got lots of options just right now.
Yeah, and Death Mountain makes sense. Although the one problem, of course, is that we can't guarantee our full clear of Tower of Hera yet. But I would not be surprised to see an immediate flute to Death Mountain, and with just how many items it contains at this point.
Yeah, I think the safer play would be to go check this race game and such, and then do South Shore. Because if your fire source is on South Shore, well, that's an easy Death Mountain check, I would say.
Exactly. But then again, we could have both fire. Oh, boots are required, everyone. We already know boots are required. So now my statement of I previously made of we are going to have boots lifted fire before we go to Desert Palace is like definitely a thing.
It is much more common now.
Firewood doing South Shore, imhughbliss also doing South Shore.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. There are times when you can sort of route in South Shore with something else, but it's very, very rare.
Well, the one thing that you could do it with would actually be with the Dark World Road.
Yeah.
But when you have flute, that's sort of irrelevant. Flippers!
Well,
what is this seed?
Well, that's like good stuff. Someone must have lost those, must have been late, I guess.
Yeah, they're swimming around and then they fell off. Well,
this would be a really good time to find some 300 rupees in this cave.
Well, or farm that bush crab that's just to the other side. Also, it's still faster, of course, to just find the 300 rupees, but they have that option.
Well, 100's about as good as it gets, I guess, here.
Yeah. We'll see. So we are going... So Firewood's making the straight to Ice Run Cave, I would imagine. It could be anywhere, really, though.
Yeah, Yeah, it's hard to say. Let's see.
Yep, straight to Ice Rod Cave.
That's fine.
And Hugh Bliss in lockstep.
I approve. Big fan of Mr. Ice Rod Cave.
Especially since now you know that you need boots, you don't really want to put off any location. Like some runners, and I haven't seen it so much this tournament, but in the fall tournament I saw a lot of runners putting off Ice Rod Cave until they had the flute and boots if they could, and sometimes that was the item that was in there.
Yeah, I think another part of that is just with this version V29, a lot of the light world locations got a much higher chance of having progression in it.
Yeah, I think Ice Rod is actually one of the hot, according to the stats released. Heck, must have been a month and a half ago now. I think it was found that Ice Rod Cave was one of the highest single item locations with progression in it.
Yeah, they are very close, but I think Ice Rod and Nagina have a slight edge in that. Hublis heading up to Death Mountain now as Firewood King, doing some flipper stuff.
Hublis has the old man. And of course, I sort of agree with Hublis's play here of the I don't have 500 rupees yet. I don't really want to go to Zora yet.
Yeah, and Firewood King.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might just float away from here and go to Death Mountain too.
True.
Whew.
Canis Samaria not meaning a lot until you have Dark World access, to be fair, but it's very good that he has it already. You never know how long, with how open the seat is, you don't know how long it'll be until Hublis does decide to check the hobo there.
Yeah, and that Canis Samaria, we might not actually need that at all, but it's still one of those items. You want it.
Yeah. 50 rupees on top of the cave. I'm sure we'll be picking those up. 20 rupees in the cave. We will not be picking those up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a detour.
Yeah, no reason to skip the 50 on top. It's basically not... Oh, the Moon Pearl!
Well, that's a good one.
TR is a pendant as well as Thieves Town, and then we have our other red crystal on Mire.
Alright, so that Canis Samaria will be required, at least for Mr. Mire. So Firewood King is filling up the bottles. I didn't see what they got from the first one.
Must have been a good one, because otherwise they wouldn't have thrown the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blue
potion.
That's a really good one. That's really valuable.
Couch cash on the tablet. We're not coming back for that one. Firewood King is going to go check out what's on the ledge first. Can't blame him since he can pick it up right now if it is something good.
Yeah, and we will have an opportunity to come back here with Catfish, so we have the Mire. So
yeah.
Abandoning Zora right here is not that big of a deal, really.
Where are you going, Firewood King? He's going to flute location? You're just going to somewhere you can flute. Okay. That makes sense.
Heading up here to Death Mountain as well. It's very tempting. A lot of items, not many other things we can do right now.
No, as we said, the only other thing you can do is desert, and it potentially boots locked, and of course you know that your glove is probably... You know that we could have another glove somewhere else, but not having a fire source and having one glove already boots locked, it's like, why would I even bother doing desert first?
Yeah, I guess we could go to Eastern. It's not completable as far as logic goes because we don't know where the lamp is, but I mean, that's another option. That is 7 items over there as well, but
True.
Death Mountain is also much more tempting since, again, hair is required, and you're probably going to check East Death Mountain anyway. I've never really seen a seed where that doesn't happen, so...
Yeah.
As well.
Especially when it opens it up this early. I have seen seeds where Death Mountain access is so late that you really just don't do it until the very end. Firewood King's probably going to take a death here. We'll see how we can do around these cabbages.
Yeah, it's a little rough. These dead rocks were not playing nice.
One more to dodge? No, didn't even have to dodge it. It went the other way.
Did get those with potions, I suppose. I don't think he really wants to use it here.
And he'll probably just death warp after he gets the big key.
Yeah. Assuming this dead rock up here needs power. It's not
kill him, yeah. imhughbliss missing his first. He'll want to get one more slash in here because I think he only got a poke on the first one. I'm correct. He did only get a poke on the first one. Yeah, so he should have taken another hit at him first before he did his second hammer, just to avoid the enrage phase. Of course, didn't have any problem with it. So you know, what do I know?
So that's first crystal, 20 minutes. That's a pretty good time for that. I wasn't counting items, so there might be an item in the basement. Might be bad.
Decent chance there is, but yeah, I also wasn't counting because we do have the key, which of course is one thing. We're not going to get any hint from him because he doesn't have a fire source, so of course he's not going to go back in and try to do the basement because there's no ability to actually get the item after you do the tile room.
Indeed. Kind of makes you wonder if coming over here to the east side first would have been worthwhile, just in case there's a fire source here, but...
It doesn't really cost anything, though, because he would have had to go back to the dungeon anyways.
Yeah.
So it's the same time loss either way, except this way, if there's not a fire source over here, you actually save time. It's always one of those interesting things. And if the small key, and if of course the whole tower had been fire locked, it would have also been just as fast to just check those two locations first, confirm that it's fire locked, and then go search for the fire afterwards.
Yeah, it probably didn't make a big difference either way. 10 bomb upgrade, not really what you want to see.
No, especially at this point, like you already used half the bombs that you're going to use in this seed as required pieces. But it's okay.
Now we get to the real meat of the East Death Mountain 7-item cave. Affectionately called Paradox Cave.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that neither runner went for the, I still didn't pay any attention to what Firewood King got through everything. I saw that he got a heart there.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
But... what do we have in our 5-item location? So he doesn't even really need to finish killing the Moldorms, because I think he just gets to save and quit after he's done this anyways. Unless he finds, like, Titan's Mitts right... well, he can't find Titan's Mitts right now. There's the boots!
Alright, well that's technical Dark World access. Of course, imhughbliss does not have the Moon Pearl quite yet, but that will get them the left upgrade.
Firewood King just working on hammering Moldorm down here. And done. So we'll see if we do see an immediate Desert Palace play. I would not be surprised to not see it, by virtue of, once again, not having a fire source yet. But knowing that you can get every location except for Landmolas, it could be a play that he decides to make. I would expect to see the Eastern Palace play first.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Or maybe even the Flipper's locations that he hasn't done yet.
He does have enough money for Zora. Could just opt to do that physically. That's what... ooh, we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Flipper's locations, I would imagine, yeah. I think 8's a little bit faster, but if you're doing Hobo first, I'm not actually sure which way's faster.
Yeah, in this way, I guess you get a faster island check.
Yeah, and that's basically what I'm saying. It's like, I don't actually know which way's faster in this case where you're checking the very top.
It's probably about the same, honestly.
Probably. First, Firewood King making his long walk around. If we'd had the hookshot, this would have been much faster, but unfortunately we got the mirror and not the hookshot, so we get to do the long walk of shame, and then find the boots afterwards.
Yeah, well, that's a small comfort, I suppose.
I had one seed where we already had Titans coming to this point, and they put boots in Spiral Cave, and then they put hookshot in first chest hookshot cave, and we're like, really?
Oh boy, it's like one of those nightmare stories we tell our kids so they behave and go to bed.
Yeah, well, and that point's almost the opposite as well. It's almost like, well, that just happened. That's really odd and interesting, but done now. For new runners, that's a nightmare story. For us, it's just like, well, that was cool.
That was the thing that happened. It finally happened. I can post on Twitter. Okay, so Hughbliss does have enough money for Zora, so we'll see what Firewood King had to leave behind here. Hopefully nothing good.
Yeah, and it's unlikely to be hugely important because, of course, he'll be able to road in with Catfish later, as we already mentioned. That's too far. Yeah. One more bomb.
It's going to be odd, though, because he has a lot of locations he can check now once he gets those power gloves.
Yeah.
Lots of Dark World stuff. Speak 20.
So, and as I said, so now the question is, where do we go? Because there's lots of options.
Oh, man. Well,
I wouldn't be surprised to see Thieves Town. Well, Thieves Town's also a pendant, so actually, I don't even know, because there's not a lot of great dungeon options at this moment. It's just more Dark World Overworld that is the main thing that we've got that would be enticing.
Yeah, I think if it were me, I would have started at South Dark World. That way, get all that stuff down there cleared up, and then after Village Fire. Ooh, okay.
Wow! Well then.
Alright, well, this is going to get interesting really quickly.
Firewood King not going to be able to route this quite as nicely as... Well, Hughbliss isn't actually going for King's yet. Which I feel like would have been the first thing I did after I got Titan's Mitts in Bonk Cave, but, you know.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That would have been my first instinct, like, oh,
Now,
let's get you the other one.
He might just be going, I'm going to do Graveyard Ledge after I... Like, he might just be going Skullwoods, Bumper Cave, Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb. In which case, this is a very fair play. Like, you already know this is what you're going to do, so you're not that worried about it.
Yeah, it does sort of make you have to mirror one more time, but probably about the same time either way than running back.
Well, it might not even be an extra mirror if you just flute back to 3 and go back to the Dark World that way.
Yeah, but there might be some scenario where you want to go to Catfish from there, too.
True, yeah.
I think Fire King would be more tempted to do that since they leave Zora behind there.
Using those silver arrows. Silver arrows do, of course, one-shot the Gyarados. And one of those very, very little nice things. A lot of people, I'm not sure if they just don't realize or just don't have ability to make use of very often, because I very rarely see them used against Gyarados.
Yeah, Skullwoods is usually one of your first drop-ins in Dark World, and you don't always have the bow or silver arrows at that point. But it's very good to keep in mind, since it can save you a lot of magic.
Although with half magic as well. Now, we don't have the Fire Rod regardless, but we also have half magic, so it's almost a moot point in this seat, because this seat's just giving us everything.
Been very generous thus far. Kind of wonder where the buck's gonna stop.
Because at this point, we're almost at a just do crystal dungeons. We're not quite there yet. We can, of course, full clear pod, assuming that we can do dark rooms. But I think that's our only other dungeon that we can full clear at the moment. That's a crystal dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do swamp yet because we need hookshot. So yeah.
We're actually not missing much for gun mode at this point.
No, we're
All
not.
we need is really fire rod and hookshot and a sword.
Yeah, we're missing a couple critical items, which makes it all a pain in the butt. But what was on Bumper Cave? $20 on Bumper Cave. Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, here's that place straight to the Graveyard Ledge. And we'll see which way he decides to route in the King's Tomb. Another $20 there. So he's going back in Dark World, so most likely either just wants to make sure that he's taking his port, is just going to stay in the Dark World when he finishes King's Tomb, or is going to, as we said, go do something like a Catfish check.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty good. Catfish is one of those locations. It's kind of out of the way. There's Lamp, so there's our fire source.
There's our fire source, so that puts Desert Palace as full clearable. And this may also be on the way to a pod play as well. Now, granted, we have we have flute, so it's not really as required to do routing like this to get to that. But I would not be surprised to also see a pod check thrown into all of this as well.
Yeah, pod would make a lot of sense right now, as would Eastern, and also you can make an argument for Desert as well. We can complete that, and it gives us information on the Mire medallion, which could be very valuable.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Eastern Palace not be played in the near future. As valuable as it is, the problem is that it's not a crystal dungeon, and right now we're sort of in do crystal dungeon mode, especially with finding that lamp that gives us a fire source, as well as light in general. So it puts pod fully in logic, as well as of course just lets us full clear desert as we already mentioned.
Yeah, in Eastern is one of those dungeons. We have the flute, and it's very easy to get into Eastern with the flute, especially with the glove. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put that off for a while yet.
Because, as we said, we're like 3 items from go mode.
Yep, that's about it.
And Mire's medallion. I'm not sure if we said that in our first time round.
Yeah, we do need a medallion, of course. So technically 4, I guess.
So yeah, we're getting real fast there, but of course, who knows where the wrench comes in? Because there's likely going to be one.
Yes, almost certainly, I would say.
Firewood King a little scared here because he only has 1 heart.
Oh my gosh, this is scary. There we go. There is one more guy on the screen, but
I imagine we're probably going to see a save and quit or something after this and just flute to 5.
Firewood King's probably going to mirror and go check Zora and then save and quit.
Oh, right. Forgot about the Zora check, yes.
Just got to be careful of these crabs. The crab will kill you in 1 hit with 2 hearts. And he's, of course, getting in the way. Of course he is. Oh my gosh.
Fortunately, they only move fast sideways and not up and down.
Thankfully.
And let's see what Sahasrahla has, because we haven't seen this yet. Granted, there's not too much in here that you'll sort of be sad about not having fit. Wow, this door doesn't want to get bonked. There we go. Bombs, ice rod. That's not really what that's something you didn't want to see.
Yeah, we weren't really hoping to see that. Just put that in GT every time.
Yeah. Well, let's see where we go from here. Both players going for pot. Surprise, surprise.
Makes a lot of sense. We didn't check Sarashila and pods, a lot of items, so
yeah.
As far as chest density goes, this is about
although to be fair, the Desert Palace play is not too bad because of the fact that we can do it the back doorway. And we can also mix it in with the checkerboard cave, the Mire shed, and finding out what the Mire medallion is. So there's actually would have been I would have actually said that Firewood King's better play since he was fluting, since he was already out of the Dark World, would have been go to Mire area, see what's up, do desert real fast, and then come over here. It's not really going to matter though, not unless there's like 2 go mode items in desert or something, 2 items towards go mode in desert or something.
Yeah, I think you could make a pretty good argument for just coming to pod before that, just because if we find the medallion to Mire in pod, suddenly we can complete that as well while we're there.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. There's always arguments both ways, but
yeah.
And we might have a seed today where we're avoiding all the pendants again.
Well, aren't those the best ones? In some ways, I guess.
It depends on it depends on what safeties are in the pendant dungeon.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Doing Master Sword Silverless because a male upgrade of sword and silvers were in. Now we have silvers at least, but But doing something silly like that because the sword and everything was in Eastern Palace and you could have done it is a bit of a pain in the butt.
It certainly is, yeah. Not a lot of action in pod, but you know, it's a very key-heavy dungeon. Lots of keys in the front.
Yep. There's a little bomb placement there. Lets you just be on the floor as it goes through. What's our vanilla big key chest? It's a shovel.
Alright, well. It's one item.
It is. Definitely one item.
Not so, you really want to see, but...
As much as it doesn't matter, it means the pod was technically bow locked to the back, but that's sort of irrelevant because the bow was so early on and so accessible that it's basically entirely irrelevant.
And we found that in the back of the tavern. Hope nobody misses that, but it's ours now.
Of course, getting the shovel now will be, ooh, hook shot! Fire rod!
What is this seed? I don't understand. Why can't I get these? Come on.
So medallion and...
Literally all we need is a medallion.
And a sword.
That's all we need, and we're 36 minutes in.
I'm on sword mode. You can do it, Seed. You can give us sword mode.
Alright, well, we got one more item in pod. It's certainly possible.
There's our big key. Took us a while to get there, but we got it. We got the big key.
We did get that. Alright, Helmsir King gonna keep us in suspense for a little bit longer.
Firewood King doing a nice little bonk strat there to get yourself back over that hole. Now he's gonna have to deal with the beetles. Just gonna do it by transferring out of the room and back in.
Yeah, that's just what you gotta do. If you try to jump off, they'll bounce you back, and
yeah, if you have Butter Sword, it might be faster. Probably isn't.
Yeah.
But aside from having Butter Sword, you just green transition the room and deal with it. Or maybe throw a bomb at them. You might be able to throw a bomb past them, push on the fly. I don't know. There's probably another strat or two that are sort of silly that you could do, but green transition the room is nice and simple.
Yeah, it's a pacifist route there. I wonder if either of these guys feel like they're so far ahead right now, or if they're just expecting their opponent to have done the same thing. Because this is a lot of items this fast.
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly. The only thing that would have really thrown someone off that neither one of these runners done is the Thieves Town through South Dark World check. Neither runner, of course, having started that yet. Firewood King getting really trolled by the small dodongos there. Got hit by, I think, fire all 4 times to lose those 4 hearts he's missing.
They are jerks who shoot very slow fire. We're actually pretty healthy, all things considered. 10 hearts.
Yeah, not too bad. Firewood King 1 heart behind, probably because of that heart piece they didn't pick up.
Yep, that's exactly why. We've got silvers for Helmsir King. How nice.
Yeah, since we're on Fighter Sword, we're going to be using those. Unless you're a real NMG player and you're used to the hammer strat, but I'm not even sure if that's faster optimal than a silver arrow.
Yeah, I don't think so. If you actually just hit with silver arrow, I'm sure it's like way faster. But that's
you can troll your bow, but I think you can also troll your hammer, so that's sort of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because the hammer hitbox is not a lot better than the bow hitbox.
Oh, are you?
That is
Oh,
true. He needs to go back a room anyways. Then he's gonna.
Yeah.
There we go.
there's
Really
5
just
in here.
room. Yeah, there's 10 in here.
10, 2 5s.
Small time loss on that. And then here comes the Mire check, because, you know, everything is completable at this point, except for Mire, because we don't have any medallions yet. Although, knowing Mire lately, I would not be surprised to see that Bombos medallion in this shed.
It could be.
I haven't seen it as much lately, but that's often because we just don't see a lot of Mire lately. I find that often Mire's been a pendant and you don't even find the flute. No, not in the shed.
Yep, got checkerboard cave. Sometimes, yeah, these medallions like to sit nearby.
We're gonna get the Desert Palace play first. Can't blame him for that.
Fair enough.
Oh, got a poke instead of a hammer hit.
There we go.
What's on our
boots
torch?
locked?
No, but in the same case, of course, we sort of were, because both boots were, or both lift upgrades were boots locked. So
Yeah.
So to complete the dungeon, we were still boots locked, just not in the way that you normally are.
Yeah, just not in the typical fashion.
Of course, no items found yet, so I imagine we're just going to see the right side now. If we had seen, if there'd been an item on top of the torch, I would imagine we'd probably see a straight to Landmola's play. As it just can be very fast if Landmola's has the item, and it's a very low cost if you're wrong, but
Yeah.
we haven't seen an item yet, so we know there's at least one, if not both items over here, so
No real way to avoid this.
there's the map, just to make it as difficult as possible. And the single green rupee.
Kind of expect that at this point, I think. We already found most of the good stuff.
Pretty much. You could have expected that to be a blue and sword shaped, but you know.
Yeah, that's just wishful thinking. All the sword upgrades are going to be in these pendant dungeons, I'm telling you.
Could be a thing. Of course, we will not. I don't expect we'll be assuming we find Bombos medallions sometime in the reasonable near future. We will not see a pendant dungeon until Sword Hunt.
Absolutely not. And they'll probably go to GT before they hunt for that sword anyway.
Yeah, that too. Like we will not. Yeah, we will not see it. We will not see a pendant dungeon check until we are post Ganon's Tower, assuming Bombos isn't in a pendant dungeon.
Right, Firewoodking is checking this checkerboard cave.
And it is a little bit of love.
It's Bombos missing in action.
Oh. Okay, got one. Better than none.
Yes, if you can get one, it's a nice little consolation prize. There we go. Getting that vanilla boss heart.
Vanilla boss heart indeed.
Alright, well the question is now, where do we go? There's a lot of options. Go to Ice Palace. We could go Swamp Palace.
Yeah.
Go to Dark Death Mountain.
Or we could go finish Skull Woods.
We could do that as well. The world is our oyster. Both worlds, in fact.
And I don't know if we got both items out of Skull Woods. I'm awful at keeping track of items when I'm watching two runners at the same time.
Yeah, it's a little hard.
I always seem to watch the other runner as soon as, like, I should watch this guy because he's going to get chest. Immediately watch the other runner anyways.
So our tracker saying both items in Skull Woods were found.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, so very little reason to go there fast unless you want to check pedestal. Because of course, Pedestal is by no means dead. It could have the Master Sword or the medallion we need.
Yeah, it certainly could.
Now, it's very unlikely that the Master Sword in the pedestal, like, I doubt Master Sword in the pedestal would be something that we'd actually go for.
Master Sword in the pedestal, when has that ever happened? You're talking crazy spiffers.
I know, right? Like, that didn't happen for entire, like, 20 years before the randomizer happened or anything. And there is an item in Hera basement, dude says as well, so.
Yeah, there is. One thing I would like to see Hublis do is turn the shovel soon.
Yeah, shovel's a big one. Wouldn't hurt to check the Bombos tablet sometime near, but of course you'll do that after you do Frog Quest.
Yeah, we can at least learn the item on there even without the Master Sword, so information is just as good in some cases.
We are going to go straight to it right now.
It would be silly if this Bombos was at the Bombos tablet.
It would. But it's just more couch cash. Double couch cash. Can it be the trifecta?
Trifecta, you mean couch cash at
Couch cash at pedestal?
I would probably bet on that at this point.
There's a pretty good chance. So here comes Stumpy, and then of course we should see the shovels turn in with this as well.
As long as Hublis remembers, and it does look like they do.
And it's Bombos! So, sword mode, everyone, sword mode. It's time to just do Crystal Dungeon.
Oh my god. I would have destroyed the seed. To be fair, that wouldn't be very difficult, but yeah, just looking for that sword now.
So Hublis is going to check this, the dig game, I imagine. Maybe he doesn't realize he's in sword mode, or maybe he just really wants to check these locations he's already at. Hard to say for sure.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to come back here. Might as well while you're here, so...
Yeah.
Almost going into sword mode at the exact same time.
Yep. Firewoodking immediately going to...
Well, got no idea, right?
Swamp Palace.
Got everything
Maybe.
available.
Probably. I imagine this is Swamp Palace.
Does look like it.
Probably would have been almost just as fast to just turn around and go back in the portal. I think, or did he portal there? I assume he did.
I'm not sure. Swamp first is interesting.
Yeah, because lots of people like to leave those for. But that being said, since you know you're going to be checking locations, Swamp is a decently fast one to be doing. I would argue that maybe you do Mire first, anyways, but you don't have a lot of other options at this point. Because Ice Palace has less of a benefit to doing it without being in full go mode. But I would agree that doing Mire first makes a little bit more sense, because Mire would then give you Mire you sometimes have to full clear just to find the big key anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Swamp does make a little bit of sense as well. There are a lot of chests in the way, even if you skip the left side, so... Yeah. Maybe that's the aim, is just see if you get a sword here. Yeah,
that's sort of what I was going for, yeah. It's an item density play, where because you know that you're in pseudo go mode, and you know there's 3 locations that there's going to be that could have your item, not just one specifically, you sort of go, you may as well play the numbers game.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that would really benefit you from putting off Swamp is if we find the sword, then okay, we can avoid checking some of the stuff, which doesn't take that long anyway, which is not really worth considering. And 2 would be, I guess, Mire would let you check Pyramid Fairy as well if you wanted to do that. I don't expect that's something they really care to do, since we can complete all of our crystal dungeons and just hope there's a sword in GT. And that probably works out.
Yeah, Pyramid Fairy would make another play for doing Misery Mire before Swamp, just so that you can patch in Pyramid Fairy with Swamp. Hughbliss also looking to go to Swamp by the looks of it.
Hughbliss found a Master Sword.
Yep. That he did.
Where was that?
I think it might have been the Smiths, actually. I saw him in the Smiths area.
How ironic. Going to be very interesting to see if this race is actually decided by 1 or 2 few more overall checks when you're in sword mode.
Yeah. And at this point, it's really looking like it could be, because Hughbliss is going to take the lead here unless, like, one of these next 3 chests is a sword.
Even if it is a sword, well, I guess it depends. If it's one of the ones in the back, I feel like Hughbliss is going to be checking the ones in the downstairs, just because that takes like no time at all. And if it's a tempered sword, you feel amazing. Yeah,
and you still sort of want to see a blue mail as well if you can.
Yeah.
11 hearts green mail isn't awful if you're comfortable with throughout the rest of the game, but it's still something that you'd rather just see a little bit more safety there.
Yeah, especially when we haven't found any events for the items yet. It's gonna make if we have to do Master Sword Ganon, then the blue mail makes a lot of difference when you don't have events for the item. But it gives you a lot more leeway for making a few mistakes here and there.
Yeah. Rupees, big key. No backtrack to the big key, which makes sense because he didn't do left side. So even if he wants to bother checking the big chest, he can read it in with the left side if he decides he wants to do that.
It's probably not really worth the time at this point.
Probably not, no. I don't expect to see it happen, but you never know.
Can't believe sub 1 hour go mode by like a lot.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We were sub 50 minute probably.
Yeah.
Right around 50 minutes. Yeah.
Oh boy, Fighter Sword, Argus.
Not menu bossing it either, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I'm not actually sure. Is this might actually just be faster, actually. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think it's probably about...
As long as you actually get those double spins off.
Yeah, it's not too hard. And it certainly feels a little bit quicker, just because you're not menuing all the time.
Yeah. I think this menu is actually really good for the fight. I don't know. I can't remember what items exactly we have, but I think we'd have to do a three input either way. Anyways, Hughbliss gets a heart refill there, 12th heart and a heart refill. Gonna have some silver arrows flying for a little bit here.
Yep. Only 2 left, so just gotta count. There we go.
Got it. Last arrow. Now, where's he going to get more arrows from?
That's a good question.
Because you'll want them for Misery Mire. You'll want... I don't even know. Is it 10 you need for all of Vitreous?
Yeah.
If you don't miss one, or 11 maybe? Is there 8 or 9 eyes?
I want to say there's 8. He could just go to Skullwoods now. There are some arrows and pots there, if you're really concerned about that.
Well, let's see. Looks like we're getting Skullwoods. Although, I wonder if we are going to get any overworld here as well, because of course the thing about Skullwoods is that it's just completing the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, yep, that's what we're getting. Now, as I said, we might be getting a pedestal check. I doubt it at this point. There's no real reason. Yeah, actually, there's no reason to check pedestal. There's like, given that we already know that both tablets are just money, there's no way that a sword on pedestal is going to be faster than finding a sword somewhere else anyways.
Yeah.
Especially with Turtle Rock being one of the pendants.
Definitely avoid that nightmare scenario where one sword's on pedestal, the other two are in the tablets.
Or otherwise locked by the tablets.
Yeah. Oh no.
Ooh, got wall mastered. Now, of course, that wall master not mattering a lot. It is a time loss, but it's a smaller time loss.
Yeah, probably did more mental damage than actual damage to the run, I would say.
Imhughbliss going straight to Mire, which does make sense, because any items you can get before doing Moth are going to be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. We do have, on firewoodking at least, 2 of those food potions from that waterfall dip.
Right.
Bottles in. So
yeah.
He should be just fine, but definitely...
And of course the half magic in general.
Yeah. Makes a big difference if you can actually hit Mothula and do not spikes. Being careful, getting these hearts.
Oh, I think he got a double heart there, actually.
Yeah, sometimes if you hook those hearts, you get 2 with the hook shots. Quite weird.
So we should just see wanton fire throwing here, yeah. Even get
magic.
the full magic drop, as if it actually mattered. I think his I think that drop gave him like 1 more fire rod use. Nice powder of the bunny beam there to get full health for the Mothula fight.
So you're gonna skip these arrows. Oh my gosh.
What a guy.
Wow.
Or just not thinking about it. Either way.
Yeah, that's the least. That's the furthest thing from this fight, I'm sure. It's like, I'm in go mode. I gotta complete stuff.
Where's my master sword? Gets the map.
Alright, well we're 5-4 right now. Imhughbliss is about halfway through Mire. And
I didn't see where the big key was, but that must have been one heck of a fast one.
Yeah, it seems like it was not in a terrible spot. It's gonna be awkward if Fire King's Mire is a lot slower just because of not having arrows, though.
Well, not having arrows and also potentially full clearing it, depending on how far he does want to go looking for items. He's going to Ice Palace now, though. Now, we'll see exactly how he decides to route Ice Palace. This is where the real interesting thing is going to be, because I'm not sure whether he'll full clear. He might just do something similar to what I did in my race this week, which was just do right side to try to find some, because right side 3 chests are actually really fast to do. If you're just sort of going, yeah, I'm going to do right side. Or what exactly, we'll see.
Yeah, I think if he checks the penguin chest here, if he finds a small key in that or the freezer chest, if he checks those, then I think he'll definitely do right sides because, as you said, it's really quick and it's 3 item locations. You really still want that sword. So, yeah.
So hookshot strats here. Of course, for some reason, hookshot does full damage, just one-shots Pang Gators.
Fire Rod, oddly enough, not one-shotting them. I don't know how that works. Okay, small key. That's really good.
Yeah. 2 full magic drops from the Pengators as well. Like, what even?
Didn't actually use any magic, but thank you.
Our runners have never well, he used like 2 or 3 fire rod shots to get in.
Yeah, that's true.
But that being said, with half magic, that's still effectively nothing. Yeah, Imhughbliss just getting more and more ahead here as we go, because we'll see if he decides to do what checks he decides to do as he goes through Ice Palace.
He already has that Master Sword. I think he would definitely appreciate a Tempered Sword, but he's probably not going to be looking for that very hard either. Like
he may do the Freezer room. I don't expect to see the Pengator room, just by virtue of the fact that we don't have the Tempered Sword to do the spins, but you never know.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long, but it's...
Exactly.
It's still up. Okay. We are gonna get it.
Well, you have to go into the room either way, but we are gonna get. Yep. There we go. Gets the hits. We may even see a right side. I don't think we will, but you never know exactly how safe he's feeling.
I feel like if you get the small key, it's definitely worth it if you really, really, really want that different sword. But you'll see how Hubris feels.
Firewood not just going for the bomb strats, but not really going to matter too much. I think he sort of just started charging his sword, then realized, whoops, I don't want to be charging my sword. Whatever, spinning them now anyways.
Ooh, Firewoodking is skipping the right side. That's...
He is. So I guess, so at this point I would say that he's in full go to Ganon tower mode.
Yeah, it seems very accurate right now.
A little disappointing because, as we said, it's 3 item locations really fast. If you get the big key in there, you can throw the big key check in there as well real fast.
Yeah, I understand though. I mean, you're in go mode. You don't
Yeah.
want to be wasting too much time.
Uh-oh. You got this, Hubris. Okay, we're good. Good. Of course, both players pulling off that Ice Palace bomb jump with basically no issue. Firewoodking using bombos just to save more magic for the important part of the fight, because you don't want to fight Cold Stare with Fighter Sword.
Yeah, it's quite a long time. Ooh.
Interested that he just used that immediately. I don't think he was 1 bonk from dead yet.
Well, they do 4 hearts with Green Mail, so if he was...
Is it 4? Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
I don't know. I don't know what he was at. I was not checking it.
He must have been at like 3.5 and just did
Yeah.
not want to die.
And he took a hit, so if that was the case, that was the right call either way. Hubris just going to refill his health here with the anti-fairy.
Yeah, Cold Stare is not... It's weird, because Cold Stare is one of those bosses that just like sort of floats around, but it's also very threatening because when he does touch you, he does a lot of damage. Better safe than sorry.
Oh, Firewoodking might be making the play that's going to help him stay in the race. Because if this is straight to the smith and the hammer pegs, this will save it. This will put him right into actual go mode.
Oh,
Oh, he's gonna check. He's gonna check all of the. Forgot that we hadn't even checked Village of Outcast yet. I don't think either player. Well, I imagine Hubris did do it as part of. Well, actually, he probably didn't. He probably would have done it. He probably stopped short because the smith had the sword.
is he going to buy arrows? Is that why he came back here?
Possibly.
There is a shop that sells arrows. And you don't want to fight Vitreous without arrows, but... Yeah, that's where he's headed.
Fair enough.
I think? Yeah. Speaking of obscure game knowledge... How many of you knew this was here?
How many of you that don't play Entrance Randomizer knew that was there?
Yeah. Knows about this shop, does not know about the arrows and Skull Woods, or I guess wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah.
You can also buy a bee.
Or a fire shield. Because that's real necessary right now.
He does block some stuff in Misery Mire. Alright, well. I do think that Hubris is at a small advantage right now. Depending on where this big key actually was, this could also be a very quick mire for Fire King.
Yeah, so he's at a small advantage that gets bigger with every chest that doesn't have the Master Sword, another sword upgrade in it.
Yeah, Firewood King definitely needs that.
And even with there being a sword upgrade, if we're talking about Ganon's Tower, there's a decent chance that both runners get the same chest in Ganon's Tower. So if we get tempered to Master Sword, that's not a lot. That's not really a catch up for Firewood King either.
No, it really isn't. His tempered sword cuts down that fight's duration by quite a lot. There are some patterns you can get from Ganon that make it not as bad, but those are of course RNG. Can't depend on them.
Enemies not quite being as nice as Firewood King wants them to be.
Oh, and they're just gonna drop 10 arrows right there in front of his face. What a nice bunch.
Yeah. Oh, you just spent 90 bucks on arrows? Well, here, have some
Yeah.
arrows. I was supposed to say, Hughbliss doesn't need to be too shy about using his sword here, given that the sword and the fire rod do the same damage.
Alright, well that's the last crystal for Hughbliss. We're not in speed gaming, but if you guys want to play the Ganon's Tower guessing game, yes, we can do that. You know the rules, of course. 22 chests in GT. Take a guess in chat which one you think it's going to be. If you're right, what did they get? Swifters.
I don't know. Do we go the fall tournament classic?
What would that be? Herfy Durfy's Love and Affection?
That would be Herfy Durfy's Love and Affection.
Alright, well.
I'm not sure how much that's been given out this tournament. There's been a lot of races on speed gaming that just literally give out an actual prize, so you know.
Yeah. I don't want to make any promises for Herfy Durfy, so I guess you'll get my love and affection.
Oh, okay.
My begrudging love and affection. But yeah, we're actually going out to GT at 1 hour and 6 minutes. It's crazy to me.
Similarly crazy thing about the fact that there's some seeds that have actually finished at this point. Like some of the fastest seeds that have been around have actually finished at this point.
None of the seeds that I play, but I have heard. What's your guess for this key?
I'm a number 8 guy. I like
Right.
both of the situations that give us a number 8, which is the Firebar room as well as or if you do the right side gamble, it's the first chest in the Stalfos room.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the tile rooms because the seed's been too nice. I'm calling tile room.
And if anyone wants to throw in their guesses for where the sword is, for where a sword may be in Ganon's Tower, you can make those guesses as well, because that could be important here for Firewood King.
Yeah, Firewood King's definitely gonna be hoping and praying that there's a sword in GT. Ooh, down to 1 heart.
He's gonna have to go to the witch shop probably.
Yeah, has plenty of money, and Flute makes that a quick trip, but
Not getting the 0 cycle here. Good thing he refilled his health. He would have been dead.
yes, he would have.
What do we have? Bomb. And a sword. Sword
Wow.
in chest 2. Anyone who didn't get I see no one got their guess in, but that's where the sword was.
Well, Firewood King will be happy about that. Hughbliss is probably a lot happier, though. That's gonna make Ganon fights much easier, much safer as well.
Yeah, the match is still within striking distance, but Hughbliss does have an overwhelming advantage between the sword advantage and the just a general lead a time lead already.
Yeah, it's really not impossible. We are in Green Mill GT. It's certainly possible Hughbliss takes a death somewhere during the climb
True.
and has to restart that way, but
Oh look, 10 more arrows, just for
of course.
just for the fun of it. Another important thing to note, of course, is that if we do find the last sword also in here, we largely negate that difference, as the butter sword versus the tempered sword is a negligible difference.
Yeah, it's still a little bit better, but not enough to really write home about.
Well, and on top of that, the amount that it is better can also be overcome with good execution. You can one cycle, and then it doesn't matter after that anyways.
Yeah.
So, the execution can overcome that fairly simply.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you spend with the Master Sword is just because of you have to do spins. If you could just slash with the Master Sword, then even tempo probably wouldn't be that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Getting the dead rock just wouldn't be rando seed without those guys.
Yeah.
Your life miserable.
I would say we'll see if we get a hookshot cave check. I expect we're not going to, though, with how much other things Firewood King has also skipped.
We might.
But we might, because it is 4 guaranteed items, whereas, of course, Ice Palace right side is not even a guaranteed item. It's just 3 guaranteed location.
Yeah, you might even check Super Bunny Cave if he's feeling really nervous.
Oh, there's a blue mail. Blue mail in Rando Room.
Well, that's even nicer. Negates the risk of dying just a little bit.
So we are getting Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave checks by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, these are quick. 6 items.
Unless there's another sword in here. It's another heart, and another heart. Don't think that safety's going to turn the table, but you never know.
Probably not, but still, I mean, there's worse things we could find here.
Yeah. And Bob got turned into a fairy. So now, second Bob showed up. Bob Jr. It's like, oh no, Bob got killed.
There was another sword there.
Oh, jeez. So we're going to have Tempered versus Tempered, and I'm not sure if right side gamble... No, we didn't have a right side gamble possible, did we?
No, we could Dark Magician.
He could Dark Magician, but he likely won't feel that far behind with that sword being relatively on the way and having not checked too much else. Like, aside from the having to buy arrows, he hasn't done a lot of extra things.
This is true. Oh boy, these Lionels. Just let me through. Oh no. Oh. Okay. We live.
Not where you want to have to use your first blue potion, but it's not really going to matter to him a lot because he is going to, of course, get at least that tempered sword. At least the tempered sword.
Not a lot you can do about that with no immense speed items.
Of course, what else he gets is up to his routing. Because the blue mail was in Rando Room, and so we know that, yeah, so I expect he'll get all of those items then, because it looks like he's going to do standard routing here.
Yeah, it does seem that way. There's the big key.
There's the big key, yep.
Is that chest 18?
That sounds right. 19, 20, 21, 22, yep, 18.
Let's see.
Congratulations, Hobonium, for being the closest.
Yep. Still 3 off, so...
Did they get love and affection if they weren't exactly right?
Well, you still get it, but it's less.
Okay. It's even more begrudgingly given.
Exactly.
No, so unless we see improvised Dark Magician strats, we're going to see Hughbliss with probably coming up on a 5-minute advantage here.
Yeah, that seems about right.
And with Tempered Sword Silvers, that's quite a deficit without a death occurring near the top of the tower.
Hughbliss is a little low right now. Might have to take the safety room down here just to be sure he doesn't run into trouble. Might just go though, because we do have that powder, so we can
do have the powder,
before. Yeah.
Both before Moldorm 2, and of course the one before even Lanmola's 2, we can get that one bunny beam.
As long as you're careful in these rooms, you don't have much risk of dying.
And you have Bombos if you really start to get low.
Yeah.
Of course, the good old Oko strats for these rooms is often just use Bombos.
It's a little slow, but it does kill everything in a very consistent amount of time.
And very safely, which is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
And Silver Arrows pulled out to deal with Lanmola's too.
If you you do get that anti-fairy. It does throw off the cycle a little bit if you have practiced the timing without it, but
many runners used to it at this point. It's something that we've been running around for a long time now.
yeah, it does get a repeat basically of his original Emma fight where he got 1 and then 2. So
yeah. Firewood King, of course, on his way to Bob and the Ice Armos. Not going to enjoy too much of what he finds over there, but it has to be done.
yep, it came all this way. No sense going back now. Now we hope that Hughbliss does not despawn GT.
Should be fine with how fast he did it, and he's going to make doubly sure he doesn't do it, I'm pretty sure here.
Yeah, if you have any doubt in your mind that you might trigger it, just wait. It really doesn't take that long, and it's...
Yeah, if you didn't go, I did that like perfectly. You have a good... There's a decent reason to just wait and make sure.
Yeah.
Not doing any more chests, can't blame him. Not really a lot more you need. As we said, Blue Mail was really the thing that's like, yep, I'm good to go now. Whoops.
Well, guess you're not getting that full magic.
Yeah, to be fair, when you're at 3/4 of a half magic bar, you've got more than enough for Tempered Sword.
Yeah.
As long as especially if he still has another blue potion. That was a poke, I think. So he will want to get another poke. Okay. No, he just needs to get a spin now.
Wow, Moldorm is not going down easy today.
Get a spin, there we are. And the map.
Well, now that we're almost done with the tower, that's going to be very, very useful.
Yes. We'll get to see exactly all of the places that we didn't go. Which is not many of them.
Not many indeed. Alright, Firewood King gets his big key as well. Ooh,
nice magic drop there. Only a single there. And then just missed the triple. Got the double though. And got blue balled there. The single.
There we go. Well, unless something goes catastrophically wrong for Hughbliss right about now, looking like they've clinched the bracket spot to me.
Yeah, runners of any runner that's at 4 and 2 should be able to do, like, even if he did die or fall at some point, should have no problem just going, well, let's just play a little bit safer, do with 8 hearts and have no real problem.
Yeah.
Firewood King just leaving just accidentally clipping into the crystal switch with the Cane of Burna activation there.
Oh no. Will you take this safety? It does look like he will.
Well, it's not going to cost him any. Well, it's likely not going to cost him any more than not taking it. So.
Yeah, he almost bumped into a cannonball and fell in the pit, so it's good he got that. Hughbliss should be on phase 3.
Yep. This was definitely quite the seed.
It was quite the seed. It's like a birthday present.
Also, actually, I do want to throw out I do want to throw the shout out to Samaria being required also for right side of Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, that was ended up being double required just for that.
While we're doing shoutouts, let's do the actual shoutouts to these runners. They've been giving us a fantastic race here. You do want to consider giving them a follow if they've been if you've enjoyed this race.
I have. It's been nice to see people actually get good seeds for once.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a race. Anyways, imhughbliss is in the fanfare. He is walking through the door. He did not fall off the ledge and is finished with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 57 seconds.
Sub 120, that's crazy. Played it very, very well.
Yep.
Not a lot of ways you'd actually improve that.
No, yeah, it was about as good as it was gonna get there. Like, I think he could have checked the shovel slightly sooner, and that might have sped up things a little bit. But then you also have the sword problem. So,
yeah.
Aside from that, there's not a lot else to go on there.
And that
Also,
sword
everyone keep an eye on that credit screen. We want to know if this was triple couch cash.
Yeah, that early sword, master sword pickup that he got, was looking really good for a while. Thankfully for Firewood King, there were 2 swords along the way, so.
Yeah, so it was never. So with the sword that was in Ganos Tower was never really going to be a danger. Plus, he just did the cave, so we found all 4 swords in the long run.
Yeah.
That was an interesting little dash. Went a little bit slower than a little bit more sideways than I would have expected it to. Oh, well, that's annoying.
Getting bunny beamed. They went that full magic. There we go.
Bunny beam slipped right through the cracks in the posts.
They're slippery. Yeah.
And we're getting bounced. Take just a moment here. All right.
Alright, well, looks like imhughbliss does not have a mic, so they will not join us for an interview. So we'll see if Fire King will be joining us.
We're getting in rage mode.
Oh man.
Medallion Boy melts room again. There we go. So that Bombos tablet melting room.
Dwarven breadsmiths.
That they were. Firewood King probably missed the hookshot clip. Never saw a hookshot go out there, but hookshot's has a little bit of a weird animation at point blank range, so
Maybe you just felt like doing it normally.
maybe.
Agatoot for Firewood King. Not great patterns. Ooh, sick triple.
Nice double.
Wow.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
The bomb booster. Rip the dream.
Maybe next time.
Missed the real triple, guys. We missed the real triple. No one cares about triple silver arrow shots or triple Aga 2 hits. We all care about the triple couch cash.
And that's what we all hope for.
Or triple sword or triple swords. That's always fun too. I've never actually seen it yet. It's one of these things that I've always heard as a potential thing that could happen, but never actually seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I have seen Bomb burn a Lambo, though, which is just as rare, maybe even more rare, and just as bad.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a thing. Alright.
Didn't get the 1 cycle. That's fine.
A little trickier with the tempered sword, depending on how it works.
Especially without using a cape or another safety item.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that the Cannon Burn is worth using to get it because of the lag that it produces.
Oh yeah, when those bats are on the screen, that just slows down to like 2 FPS. It's god awful.
Like you may actually be literally faster to 2 cycle him than 1 cycle him with Burna.
He's gonna get that free shot. Might miss the torch glitch. Yeah,
Does miss the torch glitch, really... It's a triple setup.
Ooh.
There it is.
Good.
And that's why you don't worry about that setup at the start.
Well, don't need torch glitch if you just light him once anyway. So,
yeah.
GG to Fire King.
Of course, just needs to not fall. Didn't fall. Walks through the door with an official SRTV time of 1:25:36.
Insane tight race in its own right. 125 is not bad at all. All right.
What a seed. Everything was just so early, that seed.
Yeah.
And then of course, just enough of it also thrown in the crystal dungeons that, as we said, you did the crystal dungeons you had ability to complete, and you found the rest of the items you needed.
Worked out very nicely, and we do have Fire King in the waiting room. We'll go ahead and pull him in for you guys. Hello, Fire King, GG.
Hi there, GG.
That was a seed.
Yeah, that actually, that's actually my rando PB by like a good 4 minutes. So I'm really proud of that performance.
Yeah, that's a really good time, especially for this version of the randomizer. So definitely props to you for that.
Thank you. GG to my opponent.
Yeah, he got to go a little bit faster at the end. When he found Bombos, he continued doing the route and found the other sword that was remaining at the smith.
Ah, there you go.
So he was doing Master Sword through those last couple of dungeons. You guys found the Bombo. I think you were about 15 seconds behind him at Bombos, finding the Bombos medallion.
Yeah, yeah, you could tell I was checking some more locations there because I was afraid of Fighter Sword.
Yeah, it's very understandable. And a lot of the chests you checked were along the way, so it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I got to show everybody the arrow shop.
Yeah. Yep. We were talking about that. We were wondering if you were going to Skullwoods first to pick up the arrows there, and then go to Mire since you don't want to fight Vitreous up any arrows. But
yeah, that was my thought. I got the bum in pod when the room with the statue in it, and I was like, I know there's arrows in here, so I dipped back and got those. But took some arrows to take out Helma and Argus, so I figured the audience probably doesn't get to see the arrow shop all that often outside of like entrance randomizer.
And then the seed decided to start throwing arrows at you.
Yeah, that's true. I don't really regret any of the decisions I made. So
well, I know.
Yeah,
it was just funny watching the gauntlet room of Mire go, hey, look, here's a 10 arrow drop. We're like, he just finished buying 30 arrows. He doesn't need those.
Yeah, well.
Yes, that was a pretty darn quick one. We got a lot of items very early. It was interesting because it opened up early with the light world. You had a lot of locations in the light world you could check, which doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, there was a lot of light world stuff, but I managed to completely avoid all the pendants. I'm guessing, given my opponent beat me, probably did the same.
Yeah. Well, it's almost impressive that both of you managed to resist the urge to do Green Pendant Eastern Palace when it was fully in logic so fast.
Yeah, the lamp was kind of late. The lamp was in King's Tomb. I guess it wasn't that late considering how many items we got so quickly.
King's Tomb wasn't in King's Tomb?
Yeah, the lamp was in King's Tomb. I mirrored to it when I was on the north route toward the catfish.
Okay. I'll believe you. I thought it was somewhere else. That sounds right. I knew it was in a cave, so.
I remember. I got your back, Fire King.
Thank you. I'm extremely proud of my performance in this tournament. I was going in hoping to get a win or two, and to come out of Swiss with a winning record is just something I'm really happy with. And you haven't heard the last of me because I'm on the commentary team, so I'll be around during brackets.
Oh, awesome. Maybe we'll get to do a race or two at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
For sure. Do you know how the math lines up for you? Do you know if you're anywhere close to potentially making it through on tiebreaker four?
I don't think I'm high enough on the tiebreakers, but you know, I'm open to being pleasantly surprised, but I don't think I'm high enough.
Fair enough. No, it was definitely it was one heck of a race to watch. Not a lot of wasted movements in that seed.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how I knew coming out of this race I was going to be happy either way. Either I'd get to brackets and like far surpass my expectations, or I'll just surpass my expectations by a decent amount. Now I can spend more time focusing on the commentary, less time stressing out about practicing for races. Maybe I'll try a Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer. That's on my list.
Sounds like a good time to me. If you guys liked what you saw, definitely give Hughbliss and Firewood King a follow. They put on a great race with a really friendly looking seed, so definitely give them your love and support. And thank you, of course, to our tracker dude, keeping our items nice and updated, even keeping track of the chest when we forgot it was in Skull Woods. So thank you to that. And of course, our restreamer Data World, who made it possible to give you guys this race. Of course, to you, Spiffers, for co-commentating with me. It was enjoyable.
Thank you, Melly.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll give our other shoutouts, of course, to the ALTTP Randomizer channels for helping host this tournament. If you are enjoying the tournament, consider giving them a follow. There are 4 of them. You're on the first one, of course, and there's 2, 3, and 4 available as well. And then a lot of this tournament's also being hosted on the Speed Gaming Network. There are 6 of those channels to follow: Speed Gaming through Speed Gaming 6. And then let's take a quick look at the schedule here. Sounds like there's all sorts of races going on. I've been hearing pings through Discord the entire race. So just at 3 o'clock, we had Emerald 000 versus Don Venier on ALTTP Randomizer 2. And at 4:30, it looks like we have Solsky versus Estrigan. And at 5 o'clock, we have Zero Rush versus Farame. So lots of races to still try to keep up with there for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and this is the last week of Swiss, so most of those are probably going to be elimination matches. So if you want some high stakes rando, there you go. I guess it's not really high stakes, but you know, it's exciting either way.
Higher stakes.
Higher stakes. You have any final thoughts before we get out of here at Firewood King?
Nope, just a big thanks to the crew for this race, for all the races. It's been a lot of fun. I saw an interesting, I think, dude, I think it was you who pointed out that we've produced more hours of rando video since the beginning of the tournament than there have actually been hours of time elapsed. So I think that's really cool. The community's just exploded. I've been having a lot of fun, so thanks to everyone.
Thank you very much for coming out and racing for us. Well, yeah, brothers and Spiffers, would you like to sign us off as well?
For sure. So for everyone, this was the Week 7. One more race of the Week 7 of the Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. I am Spiffers the Grand. Of course, this was Mally casting with me. Everyone have a fantastic day, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day it is for you. Have a good one.
Catch you later.